Great.
So first of all, to everyone who's actually participating today, welcome. My name is Denis. I'm one of the data strategy consultants here at Apolix. And Apolix is a consultancy agency based in Rotterdam, and we are specialized in process mining, as you might have thought about. So today we will start with a live interview with one of our former customers. And this is why José is here as well. The customer is Trespa, and I would just say, let's start with a little introduction from your side, José.
Sure.
Awesome.
All right. I'll introduce myself first. I'm José. I'm 25 years old, originally from Spain, and I graduated from mechanical engineering in Spain from the University of Sevilla. And then I did masters in both the Technical University of Madrid and Imperial College London, also in mechanical engineering. After my studies, I decided to move to the Netherlands in April this year to start the international trainee program from the Broadview Holding. Broadview it's a holding company that offers this 1.5 years program that allows us to rotate in 3 different countries with 3 different assignments in companies of this holding of 6 months each of these projects. So I started my first project at Trespa in April. As I said, Trespa is a Dutch company. It's in the south of the Netherlands, and it was founded in 1960. Basically, it's a leading innovator in the field of architectural materials. It is a developer of high-quality panels, basically, for applications such as decorative surfaces, exterior cladding, or even now scientific surface solutions. So they also do interior applications. That's basically how I started my journey in the Netherlands.
Awesome, and this is actually why we met as well, right? At Trespa, your first stop, basically. And at Trespa itself, why did you decide to actually introduce process mining or start with process mining?
Well, it all started with my project, as I said, 6 months long at Trespa. We started seeing that there was an increasing trend in lead times. So we wanted to understand what were the reasons behind, right? So in this context, they asked me to firstly identify what was the lead time of Trespa based on facts. So we needed to do a model of the value chain of Trespa because actually nobody had ever done it before. Yeah. So what we wanted to analyze was all the steps taking place in between the order entry from the customer and the final delivery to them, right? So initially, I started doing interviews within the business with the different departments to understand how they run the business and the processes on a daily basis. And out of that, we defined a huge manual process map ourselves of what we thought that was happening within Trespa, right? And once we have this qualitative map, we wanted to plug numbers into it in order to make it a value stream map, right? So that we could see how long each of these steps would take. And that way, in the future, we could focus on those steps taking the longest, the bottlenecks, right? And the constraints. However, we realized that our manual map was already pretty complex. You needed to take a lot of information from your SAP system and all the interfaces to get those values in. But still, it was based on what the business was telling to you, right? This map was manually done. Well, we wanted to do the project fact-based, but if we start already making assumptions based on what the people say, and we have no way to prove it, then we are taking the wrong perspective, the wrong approach, right? So we thought, okay, there must be already in the market some software or some tool that can help us do that in a more automatic way. And that's how we found out about process mining and Celonis itself. That's how the linkage was made up at the beginning.
Awesome. Good to hear as well. Many of our customers would like to go from this subjective to actually objective and data-driven view as well. So process mining was a perfect fit. Nice. Good to hear as well. And my question here would be, was it been actually successful? Would you consider process mining has helped you with this actual issue?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Because at the end of the day, what we wanted was to have real insights, fact-based, as I said, as to how our business is run on a daily basis. And with process mining, Celonis can tell you directly what your value stream map is, but not only the most common flow, but all the possible variances. So when you start digging into that, you realize how everything is done in reality, and it's way messier than everybody would expect, right? So indeed, it was a success because already having numbers, having real figures on how the process is moving forward was a criterion for success to us. So definitely, we were really pleased. And of course, at the beginning, you don't really realize how complex it can become or how messy your business is running. But it's the fact, right? When you start digging into it, you realize, oh my gosh, this is a very specific order that went crazy because of this and that. And this trend happened during Corona times in the pandemic. I hadn't taken that into consideration. So yeah, definitely. It brought a lot of new knowledge to us. So successful.
And when compared to the BPMN model you mentioned at the beginning, which you came up with yourself with interviews and all that, was it a bit overwhelming as well to actually see the whole transparency of a process? Like, was it a bit shocking or?
Yes, because at the beginning, when you make your manual value stream map, you do it in a very organized way, departmentalized, thinking, okay, first we have activities related to customer service or order entry processing, then you'll go to production basically, and then you end up with warehousing and logistics. So it looks like a very logical flow to you at the beginning. Then what happens, you plug in Celonis, it gives much more information, and now new departments that you hadn't taken into account at the beginning start popping up. Like for us, a discovery was finance as well, right? Financial activities that were happening in the meantime and that we had never thought of, such as setting a credit block or a delivery block that can also have an impact in your lead time at the end. So we realized that rather than being 3 or 4 blocks in series, it was rather more like a spaghetti diagram with activities from every department happening even at the same time. So yes, a bit overwhelming at the beginning, but really fun to see, honestly. You can draw a lot of conclusions out of it. Yeah.
So after having these little successes and also kind of celebrating them in the end as well, then what would be your next step? So what is Trespa going to do with these actual insights now?
Well, what happened was, okay, as I told you at the beginning, our main focus was to define the value chain and then reduce lead time, right?
Yeah.
But when we started using Celonis and we saw all this messiness that we could find in the company, we realized, okay, this tool is not only useful for reducing lead time in general, it can also help us improve our business processes and our daily tasks, right? So we started identifying, let's say, some waste activities that we performed, like repeating activities several times a day or a week, or doing some activities that don't add value at all. So we took a step back and said, okay, let's not focus on just reducing lead time for now, but let's start identifying the main sources of waste activities in Trespa, and let's try to cut them out. Why? Because first, this is something that you can do faster. And second, this is something that helps the business already realize the potential of this tool, right? So if, for example, you're a person working in logistics, and I help you realize with this tool that on a daily basis, you are performing hundreds of activities that are not adding value, and we can actually remove them or do them in a, let's say, faster way, then I'm already starting to engage you with this new mindset of process mining, you know? Because at the beginning, it might be, you might find some resistance or reluctancy from your business because people have been running their processes in the same way for years. And now process mining sheds on the light and and proposes you to change, right? So we said, okay, let's focus first on reducing waste. That way we can engage the business. And then in the longer term, we'd also like to implement structural changes to eventually reduce the lead time, which was our original objective. So the way in which we would do that is, okay, we would make this first list of waste activities to focus on, and then the longer implementation changes. We would implement them with Celonis within the next few months, and then we would like to dedicate some time to control what's the effect on throughput time and in your activities in the longer term, right? Because Celonis is also capable of helping you control, monitor what your changes are doing to your business, right? So that's the main objective. And this is only in the order to cash process, which is one of the packages that Celonis offers. But then once we are finished with this first package, we would like to, let's say, do some assessment of the results that it brought. And if it's successful enough within Trespa, then we would probably like to expand into other processes with Celonis, such as production planning or purchase to pay processes. Yeah, because we realize that this tool can help across the whole organization in many different ways. So yeah, that's the objective for the short and long term. And in the long term, if indeed we continued with Celonis, we would also like to build this center of excellence that they talk about. It's basically this linkage that you build between your business, your operational business, and your IT department, right? Let's say it's like a middle intermediary for continuous improvement. So this is something that Trespa is also wanting to dig into. But for me personally, right now, I've just moved to my next assignment in Germany, as you know, in a sister company, Investac. So I'll be doing another project here. But right now in Trespa, they are continuing with the steps that I just talked to you about.
Thank you so much, José, for sharing that with us. Now you've already went into the action phase, basically. So now for our customers who are watching at the moment or who would be interested in actually implementing a process mining solution or tool, were there any challenges you encountered throughout this trajectory which you think might be beneficial for others to know about upfront, maybe, so others could learn from that?
Challenges, yeah. Okay. I would say first challenge for sure is the implementation of the tool itself, okay? Because Celonis is fantastic, but it's not a magic tool that you just purchase and already gives you all the information, right? You have to couple it with your ERP system, whether it's SAP or Oracle or whatever. You have to make a good connection, and you need to build a model out of it that satisfies your needs, right? So that's quite challenging, I would say, because, well, it helps you if beforehand you've done some research within your business to really understand how your processes are run. So this manual process map that I did at the beginning helped me a lot to do the implementation of Celonis in the longer term, because at that time I could already understand what fields were used in SAP from my business users, how we registered an order, how we make a shipment, all these nitty-gritty details you need to know. Because in the end, you're going to tell your implementation partner, okay, I want to build an order to cash chain analysis, and I want to include this kind of activities, right? Because SAP is huge. You have to focus on certain things, and you need to know what they are. So first advice from my side would be really do some research in advance to understand how your ERP system works and what fields you're using within your business. It was a challenge, but I must say that it was also cool and exciting to do, because we got the help of the implementation partners from Apolix, a really dynamic team, a startup in the Netherlands. We set up a team together with them. We had a process expert, that was me. We had a leader from the lead time project, and we had some support from our IT department and Apolix as implementation partner. So this mixture from expertise from all of these fields made the process flow faster. So within some weeks, we were able to dynamically start building our first dashboard. I think the first version was already in place during the second week, so super fast. And honestly, it was good fun in general working with Apolix, because we learned a lot together, and it's a very dynamic team. So that was awesome experience. There you've got a lot of help. And then another challenge, I would say the fact that there's a lot of information, right? I mean, this is big data at the end of the day. So Celonis is really fun. You can start digging into many processes to understand what's going on, and then you start discovering any sort of crazy things that happen in your business. And that's really cool to see. But you really need to start prioritizing, because otherwise you would spend months, even years in your analysis, and you would never really start making implementation changes, right? So my second advice would be try to be 80-20, try to build components in your Celonis dashboard that help you have an overview of your process with some, let's say, main buckets, and then focus on the big buckets, the biggest chunks, the ones having the greatest impact. Because of course you're going to see a lot of room for improvement, but you cannot do it all at once. So it's really about being able to prioritize and invest your time wisely. So that would be my second advice. And the second challenge, trying to make a list of a top 5 or top 10 of your priorities according to the needs of your company.
So that will definitely help you as well to go from insights to actual actions within time, which is as short as possible, basically. And this is actually where we will, where we also can help as Apolix. So we do also help our customers, if it's not only, for example, in an implementation, to actually focus or create and show the top 5 improvement opportunities, and so the time to action actually decreases to a huge amount as well. So thank you so much, José, for the challenges and also the takeaways for potential people who are interested, or companies which are interested in the implementation of process mining. Thanks for representing Trespa today, José.
No worries. It was a pleasure to me, Denis. And just for everyone watching right now, really, if you get the chance to work with Apolix, it's a great experience. It's not like this typical consultant that does his or her job and then leaves. With Apolix, we still have constant interaction even after having finished the implementation, and they reach out to us in Trespa. They even visited us because they were willing to understand how we were doing with process mining, to follow up on our performance, and that's something that we greatly appreciated. So thank you for that, and thanks for having me today. It was a pleasure.
No problem at all. Also, thank you so much from the whole team, José. It was also a pleasure working with you, and the biggest compliment is one from a customer, so thanks for that as well.
No problem.
All right. So this basically concludes today's interview with Trespa and José. If we sparkle basically your interest, you can watch our pre-recorded video to get to know process mining a bit better. Or later on, we have another live stream by Sahant, one of our data analysts, who will show you the first steps into Snap. And this session will start at 3:45 p.m. today. And thank you so much. It was great having you all, and enjoy the world tour. Thank you so much, all.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.